got that.
It's game day.
Welcome all to episode 6 of Seeing Off the New Ball, a Bergvliet Cricket Club original. There's a lot to recap on the past weekend's action with 3 out of 4 wins. The ones on the receiving end of a bit of a lesson in Khayelitsha and 3 big wins for the rest of the club. So we're going to get stuck into it. My name is Greg, your host, and joining me today are a few members of the ones in Arno and Calvyn. And we've got the cricketing savant in Sean Kenny Vassafal. How are you gents doing today?
Good. I'm pretty sure I'm doing a lot better than the ones members, but yes, no feels this side.
Well, we're gonna get stuck into the ones to begin with. So, Calvyn, Arno, what happened on Saturday out in Khayelitsha?
I don't know. Calvyn, you want to take it first?
Okay. So, we arrived to Khayelitsha. It was a nice day. It was windy, and we left Khayelitsha. Not much to talk about.
All right, moving on. Let's go to the fourth. I'm just joking. Continue.
Yeah. Look, it wasn't a good day for the ones. The wind picked up. I mean, I can say as many excuses as I can try. It got harder to bat in the conditions. Let's just say that. So the time we came into bat, they had slowed the ball down completely. So we're just bowling medium paces and spinners with us having to hit the ball miles into 140 wind, and then on the other end, the boundary being 110 meters far. So it was very difficult to find runs. And then obviously the pressure just kept building, and then we found ourselves very short.
I think from my side, I would say, no excuses with regards to wind or boundary lengths or anything. I think Khayelitsha just completely outplayed us, to be honest. Very clinical bowling performance from them. Very unorthodox field settings, but it just really worked on the day. Didn't have a third man or fine leg for about, 3/4 of the innings, and just put those guys that normally filled at the back, put them in the covers to have extra 2 players there. Took all the pace off the ball, just made RX drive and couldn't pierce the field. So just smothered us basically up to the point where we needed to go at like 7.5 and over. So just a completely a clinical performance from Khayelitsha. We can go from there, taking a couple of lessons, I reckon, from a bowling outfit perspective.
Good, and from a bowling point of view, Matthew James was 4 for 47, so that's good for him in getting a few sticks. Arno, what do you have to say about your bowling, compatriot?
For my bowling, I mean, not much happened. It was a very regulation Arno spell. I did manage to bowl 8 on the trot, which I was quite proud of, being as old and broken as I am. So 8 on the trot was fun. And then, a story on my side is Bryden giving me 2 balls notice to come back for my second spell. This guy, Betty, you're bowling next over. And I'm like, mate, I just did 8 on the trot and stood there and seized up, and I give you 2 balls notice.
What's your go-to stretch to get that rig moving? What's the first one? Do you give it the classic? Do you give it the classic Merv Hughes type vibes? What's the story?
No, just bending down to touch my knees. I can't even my toes. But I'd rather speak about Matty James. I mean, he did a very tough job bowling wind. It was like Calvyn said, it was howling, and he put hand up and said he doesn't mind. He'll go into the wind. Tough going, but I think he bowled with a drinks break in between. But he bowled 10 in a row into that wind. Took 4 sticks and really just hitting a nice run of form for the ones. And it's nice to have a youngster that you can just go whatever is needed. He'll do it for the team.
That's good. And then Calvyn in the batting stakes, young Aiden got a good 33. How did that innings go for him?
Yeah, it went well. He came on quite a difficult time. Team needed quite a lot of runs. He gave it a go. Pretty much it was 20 numbers when he rocked up. There was like 20 overs left and about 100 odd runs needed. So he did well. It was a good knock with that wind, with those conditions, with those fielding placements. The only type of batsman that could have scored runs was batsman of his type. So he was doing the AB de Villiers 360. I mean, there was in one stage he was lying flat on his back and just, I don't know, paddling it over the wicket. It was quite a weird shot. I don't think I've ever seen it before in my life.
Yeah, from Aiden Williams was a difficult time to come in, and it was quite a creative time needed for creative batting, and he really stepped up in that sense, where he was moving around the crease, made you think of Maxwell from Australia a little bit, like really walking around, premeditating shots, and just trying to get it through the field with those field placements that Kylie had there.
Good. Well, after this weekend's performance, the ones table has now been redubbed the Fields Corner, so we'll leave it there. And we're going to move over to Tim's Titans. And what a time to be alive. I'm going to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, the sunglassed maestro that we've got joining us in our chairman, Tim Scholz. Welcome to the show.
Oh, boys, it's been a while. I've been checking my post box on a daily basis to see whether I could crack the nod for the pod, but sure, very stoked to be here, and thanks for having me, lads. It's keep up the good work. I'm loving the output every week. I look forward to this when it comes out each Friday. Listen, for me personally, Sunday was a massive result. It's the first time I've enjoyed a liquid refreshment with my right hand all season. So whether it's a Coke or a cold frosty beer, I don't really care, but it felt good to drink with the right hand again, lads. Sure. And I see what you guys have been saying all season. It's quite fun. It tastes better,
For those people who are listening and not watching this podcast, yes, Tim is sitting in his house and he is wearing his sunglasses, a classic look from the chair. Big win for you boys. So, what's the feeling in the camp there? I know you're just a player now and not a captain anymore. But what's the feeling in the camp?
It's been a nice big relief having the weight of the captaincy effectively managed to someone else, as I call it. The words mutiny have been thrown around a lot this week. Scholz out hashtags being thrown around on the Twitterverse. But politics aside, let's talk about the cricket, the real stuff. I tell you, the whole week, the boys have been absolutely frothing for this game, coming off a few losses in the last few weeks. Ably led by our new leader, Elaine Peterson. I think we came in with a positive mindset. We had quite a good bunch of lads, a strong 11 for the game, from pretty much having decent all-rounders to strong bats and some decent bowlers. So we went out, we won the toss. The new captain Elaine won the toss and decided to have a bowl first. And despite us quite cleverly and strategically spotting that they had 2 or 3 or 4 14 and 15-year-olds on the side, the obvious thing you do is bat, and you hope to try and roll the buggers so you can get back into the pub for a couple early ones. What didn't quite work out to plan, apparently their forward defensive was the favourite shot of the day. And despite some really, really good bowling and guys to sort of to talk about, notably is old Zeph, Stephen Newton, bowled beautifully, bowled 7 overs, 3 sticks for 11 runs. He really, really held up an end, came trundling in from the lakeside end at Frank's Firth. And the other sort of contributors were Tim G, opening the bowling. That's his usual slot, bowled 5 overs on the trot for 10 runs, no sticks this week. And then yours truly came on at the wind end of Frank's Firth. And this week, back in the wickets column, picked up 2 lucky ones myself. Lots of inside edges and outside edges. I should have got 7, as I keep telling myself. But, such is cricket, you expect 7, you get 2, you're happy. And also very much ably helped by Marcelino Gaffley, who also bowled 7 overs for about 17 runs for a stick. But the highlights of the day, bowling-wise for me, was the introduction of our secret weapon, old Ziad Boy Sunday, who turned the arm over. And
was he bowling leggies or offies?
That's it, mate. If you've seen him in the nets, he's got the Jorge Adams. Yes. He's really got the Jorge. So for the first 2 balls, the upper really had no flipping clue what was going on. And even though he bowled an absolute pile of moose, he actually ended up picking up a stick. And so he ended off with one stick for 17 or 18 runs in 3 overs. So it's the classic BCC saying, good balls don't get wickets. Lemon balls get lemon wickets, as we all know. So a very, very well put together innings. We bowled our 35 and the oppo were restricted to 117 runs, just showing you how well the bowlers did on the day, which is amazing. And when we came out to bat, we thought, geez, let's roll these guys, and obviously that didn't happen. That's classic BCC. We had our new stand-in captain, Elaine Peterson, going for a drive that would have landed in someone's afternoon crumpets and tea in the garden somewhere on the other side of Lakeside. Unfortunately, nicking off to slip. I mean, I haven't seen someone get caught at slip in 3C in a while, so it's quite interesting. After him, old Josh walked out. Josh has also been scratching a bit this season, and his scratchy form continued. Unfortunately, getting picked up to a good catch for a duck. So we were pretty much nothing for 2 at the stage. And then walked out our superstar, old Avon Dawson, our keeper extraordinaire, who was like a colander throughout the day on the field. I think he top scored for the oppo. I think wide scored and 5 wide scored about 20. Top scoring for Weinberg. So Avon under a bit of pressure. And he started off very well. It was coming off the middle of the bat. Was very proud of the boy. And unfortunately, he got bowled a loopy lolly, a good old-fashioned full toss on middle stump. Eyes lit up like saucers, and bowled in middle stump. So Bergvliet really were in trouble then at 20 odd for 3. And this is where we kind of pulled ourselves together. Ziad Boy Sunday came out and ably held the fort down with Jerome. And Jerome has been foaming for a bat all week. He's been at every practice. He's been telling me, I'm just list to bat the whole week. So I said, well, take the opportunity and make some bloody runs. And they did. I think the 2 of them put on about 100 runs, about 80, 90 runs for the 3rd wicket. And what was amazing was Jerome this weekend. I don't know whether we've got something coming up especially for him, but for that man, he lifted his bat for the first time for the Mighty. It's his first 50 for the club, which was really, really, really special. Just for me, I've seen the guy grow up throughout this last couple of seasons, and the knock that he put together was really, really great. It was just one of those measured, disciplined innings. Bad balls being punished, good balls being defended, and him and Z also just batted.
Z's coming into a bit of form.
Yeah, it's just nice to see. And it was just good, intelligent batting. And with about, I think, 10, 12 runs to go, Ziad threw his wicket away, unfortunately, trying to put one into someone's Progo roll at Madeira, as one does when you're chasing a few to go. And with the introduction of Sean Fishhook-Smith, who came out at the end, claimed a quick 8, scored a quick 8 runs for us to win the game by 6 wickets. But the highlight for us was with the speed with which we scored. We scored the runs in 16 overs. For us,
that's very good.
Jeez, man, what an effort, eh? Yeah, nice bonus point win. First one of the year.
Fantastic.
Well done. And on a side note, Tim Scholz is actually going to be releasing his standalone podcast where he just talks about the game for 20 minutes, and I'm all for it. I'm all in. Not too much to follow up on that game, Tim, other than the fact that you positioning yourself as a bit of an all-rounder in the club. 115 runs for the season, 7 wickets. You only behind the great Ryan Finnecke.
Yeah.
For the rigs, I know.
No, for all-rounders. There's a few all-rounders that haven't got going so far, traditional all-rounders, but you're up there. How's it going?
Shit. I tell you, shot, boys. I'm trying. I must say it's very nice. For the first year, I just get told what time to rock up and what time to be there and what I'm doing. It's quite nice when you have to pull the eggs together when someone else is doing it. It's quite a nice blessing.
Big things coming from Tim's Titans further afield. And looking at you, Chair, I know you've got to go to work soon, but looking at you, Chair, how are things going? You've obviously been on the journey, one of the originals. What can you say about your time as as the chair, and just now as a meager player in the Titans.
Jeez, yeah. I kind of had a small plan to do this. I must say, I without sounding sort of horrible about it, I had plans afoot at the end of last year to give Jerome or Elaine the captaincy. It was always kind of part of the plan. And just the way it's kind of happened with Elaine stepping up and really taking the active role within the team itself, it happened organically, which is actually the most amazing thing for me. And I don't see it as more of a stepping down from my side. I see more of it as an Elaine stepping up, which is incredible. And I'm okay with that. And I can see it with more and more guys within the club stepping up, saying, I will do the role. So with chairman hats on, just an amazing move. And from a team point of view, best man's got the job, I think, at this stage. Happy to be a player, happy to play under Elaine and bring home more W's.
Concentrate on your all-rounder standings. We're gonna go through to the Thirsties. Tim, we still good for time? Another 5 minutes. We're going to turn over to the Thirsties. They hosted Rylands in their 3A clash on Franksfirth, powering to a 6-wicket win. Great day for the club. Great day for a few of the baggers, most notably Struan. There's a few stories of Struan in the bar afterwards, but we're going to take a look at him on 0 runs, yet to get off the mark, and just one of those lifelines that you get given as a batter. What do you think about that, boys?
It's a very interesting way to get your eye on that shot. From a coaching perspective, I wouldn't recommend, but you know.
Oh, that's the Matty Armstrong.
Arno, have you?
Isn't it?
He was on 0 there, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He was.
Yeah,
I've heard rumours it was his first ball he's faced, and I have to say that's a very interesting shot to play first ball.
no, I'm a huge fan of drop it short and run. I'm a huge fan of it.
I should have done it on Saturday.
No,
Well, Calvyn,
Especially-
I mean, given how much heat you gave people for getting ducks, I think yes, the drop and run is probably the best shot in the book.
I probably should have done it more often on Saturday, but I was a huge fan of seeing other guys drop and run.
Yeah, so Struan obviously going almost that duck, but he's been pushing for the entire season, and last season as well. So you felt he's come close a couple of times, then dropped on 0, and then managed to score his maiden 50 for the club.
Gents, I'm going to have to fuck off. This PC of mine's dying. Shit, man. I'm really, really fucking sorry, lads. I'm so sorry.
Chairman has to go support the South African economy, so he's going to be logging off shortly. We're just going to go through a few quick fire questions for the bagger. So quick answers, as it says in the title: Madeiras or Pirates?
Madeiras.
Favorite away venue?
Oh, bit of a weird one. Hanover Park on the main field.
Best player you have played with?
William Solomon.
Interesting. William Solomon. Favorite type of dismissal?
Oh, the one that comes in off fifth stump and clips the top of the bails. Jeez, that's semi stuff. Love it.
And last one, loosest teammate you have played with?
Keegan O'Connell, without a doubt.
I thought you might say that.
Keegan O'Connell.
Fair,
Or second and very closely seconded by Tony Mills.
Fair. A few Pirates terrorizing missions for the lad.
And anyone recently, like more recent?
Oh, I would. The Oaks are quite clean these days. I think it's probably myself. I think I've become the new Keegan O'Connell, and I've become the new Tony Mills. So I think it's myself. But if it's not me, fourth-yearst, I think the guy who gives it the horns the most has got to be that man on the top right, old Beard van der Merwe.
Not scared.
Loves a Tuesday practice.
Not afraid of sucking 10 quarts on a Tuesday. Not afraid. Not scared.
All the best, Tim.
Shot, lads. Thanks for having me on the pod.
Continuing on with the Thirsties, as I said, they had that match at home against Rylands. Struan, I wanted to just mention here that, if I'm not mistaken, Struan is completely unbeaten for his time in the club in the various teams. Arno, can you confirm?
Yeah, so as far as I know, there was definitely, he did tell me, I think about 2 weeks ago, something like 27-0 for Bergvliet. So every single game that Struans played for at Bergvliet was a W.
Get him in a yellow cap.
Get him in a yellow cap. I mean, that's...
Yes. He hasn't won everything, but he's unbeaten.
Yeah,
that's an incredibly interesting stat.
We call him the lucky rabbit's foot. So if any team is going on a losing streak, you just put Stru in there and you'll probably get the W.
And we're going to bring in an absolute crowd favorite. And by crowd favorite, I mean you better be rooting for him, because then you'll like him. If you don't root for him, then you're going to hate him. William Solomon is joining us on the pod. Welcome, William.
Thank you very much, Greg. Thanks for having me here this morning.
This evening, this morning, later tonight, it's all one and the same. But yes, so we're going to close out the Thirsties chat. William, what have you've turned out for the Thirsties this season so far? What's the chat in the threes at this stage?
Yeah, there's some good vibes in the threes. I played one game against Ottomans a couple of weeks ago. They've been a bit up and down, been a little bit inconsistent, but I think they've gone 2 games in a row they've won now. So yeah, good to see them making some moves in 3A. And Captain Wela Safia and Wesley Fantonda. So yeah, good to see them getting the W on Saturday.
We saw in terms of bowling-wise, Admire taking 3 and Brendan de Wet taking 2. We're going to chat about it in the twos game, but what do you say is the bowling style of Brendan de Wet there, William? What closely described as?
It's not easy to describe. It feels like he's dropping a few hand grenades when he lobs the ball up above the batsman's eye line, and all of a sudden I think it dips a little bit low and becomes a little bit more difficult to play. But yeah, he's definitely effective. A few boundary riders at long on, long off, maybe a cow corner. But yeah, he's definitely doing the job for the threes and picking up a few sticks. So yeah, it doesn't matter how you pick them up as long as you're getting a few wickets, which is great for him.
He is one of those bowlers where when he bowls, you feel like you want to add the cartoon sound effect, right? Like
the kaboom. So the Thirsties managed a big win, and they did that on Saturday, and they definitely went back to the club for 1 or 2 Cold Castle Lights, with the ones joining them. How was Struan after the day's play, boys?
It was good. I went back to the clubhouse as well. Saw Wesley van Tonder having a nice little braai. Thought, the lads have just arrived. But then stumbling towards me was Struan, who I thought ended his match about an hour or 2 before everyone else. And wondered what happened. He gave me a bit of a story. Couldn't make out anything that he was saying. And then showed me 2 videos, one of him being dropped and one of him scoring a 50. So I thought, okay, it sounds like it was good. Yeah. I think I've put together what you're trying to tell me. But he had about 4 or 5 buoy rolls, still didn't work, and he just said, "You know what, lads, I think I'm just going to go home. I think it's the best call for me right now."
All right, the last team that we're going to discuss today is the Miracle Men, and they made the trip out to Manenberg to face Sherwood Manenberg in their reserve G clash. We've got some media on Craig turning in another strong 4-wicket performance, with the boys chasing down a total of 183, losing 6 wickets. And we've got the man, as previously alluded to, talk us through it, William, doing William Solomon things. How did the day go?
Yeah, it was good. We arrived in Manenberg. I think we had a 10:30 start. I don't think a toss even took place, and we were put into the field to bowl. Picked up a few sticks early. Craig Lawrence bowling really nicely, running into the wind, picking up 4 sticks, which was really good. I think we restricted into 180 odd. Ryan Fanika getting a bit of tap there. Kabir bowled nicely. But yeah, a good performance in the field. 180 wasn't anything too much to chase down. But yeah, we thought we could get there. And then we went in, similar to last week, we lost 3 sticks early on. We were under a little bit of pressure. I think we needed about 100 to go with about 20 overs, about 5 and over. And we managed to get there. I think it was 6 or 7 down, or 6 down. Lloyd Bernard and myself managed to see the final runs, and then picked up the victory. No bonus point this week, but at least we got the win, which was great.
Yes, the unbeaten miracle men. Tell me something. Did you guys stop listening to the news and watching Carte Blanche from about Tuesday?
Yeah, it wasn't.
All the reports and all the news headlines were gang violence in Manenberg. Please don't enter. And you guys decided, we'll arrange a Sunday game. Don't worry about it.
We were very happy to arrive in Manenberg. We arrived there, nice surroundings, decent pitch, no complaints from our side. There was a little bit of talk from our opposition about what we should and shouldn't be doing in the area. But from our side, we were happy to be there. Had a great time in Manenberg, no problems.
Please tell us what are the do's and don'ts. I mean, I can only imagine the don'ts are don't leave this place, and the do's are stay in a huddle of about 40.
So there was a bit of talk about if you hear a gunshot and hit the ground and put your face in the sand type thing. That was the first one.
The ostrich attempt.
That's exactly it. There was a few jokes about the short guys, old Mark Anthony Hendricks and Craig. They weren't going to get hit because they were too short to be hit by any bullets. The taller guys in the team, like myself and maybe Bernard, were maybe a little bit more
at risk.
But otherwise it was all good, no problems.
Your wagon wheel, what percentage was behind leg?
There was a lot behind leg. There was one through the covers. There was a 4. I think somebody spoke about it, but there was a lot behind leg. Behind square on the leg side. I'm trying to think.
Oh, there's one of them.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, have a look see there. No, the standard one. There was a leg spinner bowling, so spinning it into me, just working it around.
That's fair play then.
Exactly. And also hitting with the wind, into the wind, you got to think about these sort of things. Maybe the ones could learn a thing or two from us.
Oh no, our wind wasn't crossfield. Our wind was straight at the batsman.
All good.
Rush turning in another big performance, going out in the 40s. So good batting with the lad there, William?
Yeah, he's very easy to bat with. Doesn't look to take too many risks. Hits the ball on the ground a lot. Runs well between the wickets. Scores nice and loud. But he's in a rich vein of form. I think he's got a few 40s in a row. I think he got a 60 a week ago. So he's doing nicely and been a good addition to the club. So good to have him in the mix.
At the moment, he's leading the run scores after Sunday's performance, this weekend's performance, should we call it that? So I guess the next question now is, do we get Rush in a yellow?
There has definitely been talks about Rush coming up, and the guy, being the club man that he is, said he's more than willing to play anywhere, but he feels as he's 36, he'd rather have a youngster go up like a Marquis, who's also been doing well. Sending him up to the ones, but at the end of the day, it's not just about like where we want to be as a club in 4 years or whatever. It's about the season as well. So I appreciate it from Rushdie saying that he'd rather send a youngster up. But I mean, if your team needs you, your team needs you. So we'll see how the selectors deal with that this week.
So William, do you think that you've built up a bit of a reputation so far? Do you think you chasing down these totals with a few different partners, is that right up your alley in your repertoire of skills?
Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy it. I think it's mostly the challenge that I enjoy, and the opposition coming at you a little bit harder. The harder they come at you, the more I enjoy it. The bigger the challenge, the more I enjoy it as well. So it was good to chase down a target. Also nice to just try to keep some of the other youngsters on the other end calm and try and make sure that we get to the total. But I do enjoy it, and look forward to doing it a few more times this season.
Well, speaking of enjoyment, enjoyment from the opposition coming at you, where did this Angry Warthog nickname come from? Can you just take us through that?
I think I was captain a couple seasons ago, and I think there were 2 teams in the club at the time, and they were I think it was the THIRSTIES was the nickname for the one team. And then they needed to give the first team a nickname, and they couldn't think of what to call them. And then I was the captain, so they obviously were working around my sort of traits as a person, and maybe my aggression on the field or taking things a little bit too far. And they thought, what's an angry animal? And they thought of a warthog. So I think it was Arno even who might have dubbed it the angry warthog. So yeah, I think that's where it came from a few seasons ago.
I definitely started calling the team. I think it was me starting calling the team the angry warthogs, but I don't know where your specific nickname as the angry warthog necessarily came from. I kind of, when I joined the club, you were already kind of the angry guy there. I think the warthog was like being added on later. But yeah, definitely known you as the angry warthog for about as long as I've been part of this club.
Out of all the angry warthogs, I think we definitely have the angriest warthog in William Solomon. But William, what are your few highlights of your time at the BCC? Any big stories pop to mind?
Sure. There are a few highlights over the seasons. Obviously, the day-night game we played, I think it was 2016 when the ones played against the twos. Obviously, but disappointing that the twos managed to get a victory that day. That was a real highlight for me as a club. Seeing our club progress over the last couple of seasons with a plan put in place, I think it was just before COVID, to try and get the club moving forward and up a few leagues was also really nice to see. And then there were times when we had only 2 teams in the club, then we went up to 3, then back down to 2, and now to see us at 4 strong with extra players available most weekends, it's really just positive to see. Plenty of lots of stories from the bar and players from the past. So yeah, it's good to see us just moving forward as a group.
Oh, I'd like to see that come back. The little day-night game, 1s versus 2s, 3 versus 4. I think that's a great something to think about there, Tim Scholze.
Awesome. William, we're going to go through a few quick-fire questions. You heard it with Tim a little bit earlier, so hopefully you've been thinking of your answers. Madeiras or Pirates?
Pirates.
Yes.
Favorite away venue?
Camps Bay Cricket Club.
Not a bad shout. Best player you have played with?
Sure, that is a tough one. I'd have to say Brendan Kleinans.
Interesting. It's a blast from the past. Favorite type of dismissal, either going out or taking the wicket?
Oh no, none going out. But I think I've nicked off a player once to slip, so maybe catching the outside edge, caught at first or second slip, that'd be for me as a bowler.
Right. And last one, loosest teammate you've played with?
Sure. Neil Mouton at the bar when there's a party happening at the back.
Past and present?
Past would be Neil. Present probably have to be, sure, tough one. Struan, right.
Topical. Well played. That just about wraps it up for this week. Another big week coming up for the boys. So I'll just go around the room here. Best batter of the week, William?
Jerome Davies.
Davies. Calvyn?
I'm going with Stuart Ryan.
Stuart Ryan. Arno?
Yeah, I think it's between those two, and I'd probably also go Jerome, man. It's been waiting for this quite a long time, a little bit longer than Struan, so got to go Jerome for this week.
Jerome, and you, Kenny?
Have to go with the old man. Got to support my fellow elders, so definitely going with Jerome. Great knock, mate.
Jerome, and I'm going to give Struan my votes. Best bowler of the week. Who do we think there, William?
Sure, I'd have to go just because I was there with the 2. So Craig Lawrence running into the wind, picking up a good forfeit.
Calvyn?
I'm going to say him this week because I should have said him last week, and I apologized to him at the bar. So I'm going to go Wes van Tonder. I don't care how many sticks or how bad he bowled this week. I should have said his name last week. I apologize.
For me, it's going to be Matty James. This week, he did a brilliant job steaming into the wind, taking 4 sticks again. Some might say a little bit expensive, but if anybody saw that wind that he was bowling into, you'll realise it really wasn't. Great job from the youngsters. So Matty James, me.
Kenny?
Yeah, look, going to have to go with Matty James as well. Again, the Stumps app, I was able to follow it. Polite cough for the other 3 teams to maybe get Stumps up and running as well. Again, another shout out for Stumps. But no, definitely Matty James. I think, again, it looked like they were building partnerships and he came in again and broke the partnership and then picked up a couple of extra sticks as well. So Good bowling from him.
My bow of the week goes to Craig. 2 consecutive matches of 4 fizz. Lastly, boys, before we wrap up, team of the week, William. We'll shout it out, William.
Oh, got to go twos, hey? Unbeaten, flying the flag for the BCC. So yeah, hopefully we can keep the winning streak going.
Calvyn?
I'm going to go with the THIRSTIES.
The THIRSTIES this week. And Arno?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the THIRSTIES as well. Tough start, coming back with a W, and obviously bringing the Gears as only the THIRSTIES can in the pub as well. So definitely the THIRSTIES for me.
Great. And Kenny?
Going with the trusty Miracle Men again. The unbeaten trot that gets me in the field. So definitely Miracle Men.
Well, I'm definitely drinking the Kool-Aid that Tim is serving, because I'm going to go with the Titans. What a time for the Buggers. And that's all we have time for this week.